Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and address this whole situation, and I do apologize for that little noise. Somebody sent me a friend request on Facebook. I do apologize for that. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and talk about this whole situation when it comes to, Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso winning the Rumble. Now, there were some detractors and everything, as I mentioned in my review, and as I said there, I think the reason people are detracting from it was one, if they had the Royal Rumble is one of those pro wrestling events to where if you basically when it comes to like sporting events, you kind of have like these betting pools and everything, where you can win money, like DraftKings and BET Online and all that. Well, the Royal Rumble, the match itself, both men's and women's, is kind of in that category of being something you can put some money on, even though it's already predetermined. Let's be honest. But here's the deal. A lot of people are upset at the fact that, first of all, Jey Uso won because of the fact that it messed them up when it came to the polls. That's what it is. They are mad that the polls got messed up because Jey Uso won. They had I guarantee you, a lot of them had CM Punk, Roman Reigns, John Cena, and even Seth Rollins picked as winners. And even Drew McIntyre. None of them had Jey Uso. And yet, here we are. Jey Uso wins the Rumble, and it looks like we're more than likely going to get him and Gunther at the not the Royal Rumble, but WrestleMania. We're going to get that at WrestleMania, which I think is going to be great. And I know there are some people that are upset at the fact that, oh, here we go again, Gunther and Jey. What's going to be different about it? Look, you can be mad all you want about Jey Uso facing Gunther again, okay? They are telling a story here. Remember, it's a similar story to what they did with Sami Zayn last year. Nobody thought Sami could beat Gunther when it mattered the most, and when the lights were as bright as they were. But yet WrestleMania he did, and he became Intercontinental Champion. He ended a 666-day reign, which is a very unlucky number for someone like Gunther if you look at it that way. Now, you look at Jey Uso. Jey Uso is going to go one-on-one with Gunther. And, people don't realize that what's going on here is a very similar story. Now, some would say, well, even though it's similar, they have too much stock in Gunther. They're not going to take it off Gunther. You don't know that. You don't know if they'll take it off Gunther or not. That's the fun thing. We don't know. Because the way Gunther speaks on the mic, he makes his opponents like Jey, who obviously he knows is going to probably challenge him, doubt whether or not they should do so. But you see, that's where all the... Hold on for a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. But like I said, it is a similar story. But again, the way they're doing it is obviously he's going to go with Gunther. But Gunther, in a way, is trying to manipulate Jey away from him because he knows that all Jey needs is that one more opportunity, that one last opportunity to become champion. And he knows in story it could happen. It could get done. Also, they could tell the story with Jey and Gunther, or mostly with Gunther, where Jey could say, look, obviously you don't want me to choose you because you're afraid history is going to repeat itself just like it did last year when you lost one-on-one to Sami. So that could be something they tell as well. And that would motivate Gunther to be like, oh, you think I'm afraid? Okay. Okay, I'll face you. I'll put it on against you. And there you go. So, basically, it's a similar story to last year with Sami and Gunther, but this time around, the dynamic is kind of like Gunther doesn't want to face Jey because he knows, like Sami, Jey just needs one more opportunity and he'll succeed. And Jey, he wants to prove he can get the job done. He can make it happen, but also in story, you can tell that Gunther might not want to do it because he's afraid history will repeat itself. So, there's a lot of interesting things that people don't see. And then when you look at the reaction Jey got last night, it definitely proves that a lot of people that said, oh, we don't want him being here, he messed us up and all that, he was a bad choice. Really? Tell 13, almost 14,000 people plus in that arena in Cleveland. Tell people at home that were yeeting along with it. Tell that to Pat McAfee, tell that to Michael Cole, tell that to anybody that was a bad decision, and see what gets you. Because in reality, you're just upset that he messed up your polls. You lost money. That's what you're upset about. And, like I said before, you're upset at the fact that this guy, according to what you heard online last year, had a chance to probably try to get out of his contract, go to AEW, and he didn't. That's what you're upset about. So, why don't you all do us a favor? And I say it with all due respect, no offense. Everybody's got their opinions and their rights to feel certain ways. But as the old saying goes, why don't you let it play out? Because this is a situation to where it's not under Vince McMahon, it's under Triple H. And Triple H makes sure things get done the way they should, especially for the fans. So, why don't you take that into consideration for a moment, okay? And stop being upset that your polls got messed up, you lost money, as well as basically the fact that you're still not happy that he didn't take his dad's advice and go to AEW last year. So, why don't you leave it at that, okay? And as far as Charlotte goes, let me explain something about Charlotte, all right? Charlotte, ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte knows what she's doing. You see, Charlotte's going to parade around here for the next month or two, as the queen that can do whatever she wants, right? Because she's earned that. Legitimately, whether you like it or not, she has earned that. But here's the thing. Charlotte knows that she has to do the right thing. Last year, or not last year, but 2 years ago, Charlotte could have easily manipulated her way to going over Rhea Ripley, right? She didn't. She said, it's Rhea's time, I'm giving it to her. Now, you might say, oh, Charlotte never really would say that. That's not in Charlotte's character. Here's the thing. I want you to realize this. Yeah, it might not be in Charlotte's character. It may not be in her character. But under the right people, it is. Under the right people that open up her eyes and make her realize that this has to be done this way, it is. And she is more willing to make it happen because she knows she's had her moment in the sun 14 times, 15 times over, okay? She's had her moment in the sun, and now it's time to pass it on to the next, the next line of superstars, women superstars that are going to shine. So, honestly, when you get down to it, Charlotte's at that point in her career where she doesn't have to worry about going over, even if she wins something like the Rumble at WrestleMania. Because she knows she's going to get her moment. But WrestleMania is meant to make moments for the next generation, for the next lineage, if you will. So she knows that depending on who they decide to put her in the ring with, which is more than likely Tiffany, or they might throw us a curveball and say it's either Julia or Rhea, whoever it is, I guarantee you she's going to do the right thing and she's going to put over that talent. Now, if she does win, now let me say this, because I know people are saying it's not going to happen and she's going to win. Well, let's say she does. She ain't holding that title for that long. She ain't going to have a grip on that title for that long. Because what's going to happen is she's going to win that championship and then she's going to probably lose it a couple of months later, either at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam. That's how long she's going to hold it. That's how long Bayley held hers last year. She held it from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. So the same thing, if Charlotte wins, is going to be said for her. She's going to win, if she does, hold it till Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, and then drop it. But more than likely right now, she is in a position to where someone like Triple H can talk to her and convince her that, she has to put over whoever she's in the ring with at WrestleMania. Whether it's Rhea, and thus pass the torch to Rhea as the next dominant alpha female, the new queen, or pass it on to Julia, or pass it on, or at least put over the likes of Julia and Tiffany as the future of the women's division. And that's about it. That's all she has to do. So, for those of you that are worried that Charlotte's going to just have the championship handed to her at WrestleMania because she had the Rumble handed to her. Let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Just like WrestleMania, the Rumble was planned in advance. They had names lined up just in case one name couldn't show or wouldn't make it. They had names lined up, okay? And sometimes they may have been at the last moment, but they had names lined up. Charlotte was always going to be probably the winner, depending on whether or not she'd make it back on time. And she did. So, let's take a look at it this way, okay? You can be mad she's going to be in another women's main event at WrestleMania, but maybe you should look at the fact that this is not the Vince McMahon era, this is the Triple H era, and so far, she has done the right thing under Triple H's watch. And that right thing is put over whoever she's in the ring with. And if they have to put her over, fine. But also realize she's not going to have a long reign with that championship because it's going to go to whoever she passes it on to. And that's it. But guys, I just wanted to talk about that, kind of help clue you guys in as to why these choices were made for Royal Rumble winners. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Also, click on the links in the description. Find me at all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeart, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, Overcast. Wherever a podcast is at, you'll probably find mine there as well. Also, check me out at Vimeo.com at BWRoses, Rumble.com at BWRoses, Odyssey.com at BWRoses. Also, check me out at Venmo and Cash App to support the channel there. Also, check me out at Patreon at BWRoses. Also, find me at Divanart.com at BVW1979 and at inkbunny.net at BWRoses. Check on the Teespring store as well. Link is in the description. Click on that for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And, ladies and gentlemen, check me out at Twitter. At, Twitter/X at BWRoses and Blue Sky. But guys, like I said, I just wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on this whole situation. And until then, I am out.